Hey y'all. This is urgent. I would not have done a live stream at 11:15 on Friday night if this wasn't extremely important. Um, we only have until Thursday to get anything done about this. So hopefully everything's working right. I'm going to do a little echo for just a second just to make sure that all this is working. Is it working? Yeah, I think it's working. That all this is working. Is it working? Okay. Hey, what's up, everybody? So this is urgent. I wouldn't have done a live stream this late at night if it wasn't super important. To the 1A community, this is extremely important. We had the wool pulled over our eyes, guys. We got to get as many people in here as we can. So we only have till Thursday to do something about it, if anything can be done. And I'm told that no matter how much attention this gets, it probably will happen anyway. Yeah, so this is crazy. Guys, let's get the algorithm going. Put a one in chat if you heard about the big, beautiful bill being passed by the House of Representatives. If you're familiar with the big, beautiful bill, which was done at 1 a.m. on last Sunday. 1 a.m. The House was called in on a Sunday night at 1 a.m. It is 1,000-page document, 1,000 pages. And it has a lot of stuff in it that has everybody all talking and interested and arguing and all that shit. But it's 1,000 pages. And in that 1,000 pages, it's just about everything that Donald Trump campaigned on. And here's why it's important to you all. Put it on the chat if you recall Donald Trump saying that he wanted to give immunity to all police officers. Here, I'll help you out. Let me help you out with this.
Themselves and defend themselves and hire lawyers. You got to go hire a lawyer. These lawyers would take what they make in 1 year, they'll take it out of their hides. You can't do that. We're going to give immunity to police so they can do their job. I'm giving federal immunity to police officers so they can do their job. I think it's good. She wants to leave our communities at the mercy of deranged criminals and violent mobs. Unlike, come on, these lawyers would take what they make in 1 year, they'll take it out of their hides. You can't do that. We're going so they can do their job. I'm giving federal immunity to police officers. So
you remember that? What if I told you that that was snuck in amongst the 1,000 pages of Trump's big, beautiful bill? I confirmed it today. Not just that, but a lot of the stuff that was in the Unleashing America's Law Enforcement was also slipped in. And legislators, lawyers, and police officers, all the way up to the federal level, all believe that since it's been kind of stuffed in the middle of all these 1,000 pages and rushed through the Senate, or I'm sorry, rushed through the House, that it's probably well, they think it's definitely going to fly. I said, well, maybe there's something we can do about it. A lot of people have been asking me, Chris, what can we do about it? What can we do about it? What can we do about it? Well, today I did something about this, and as I understand, something can be done about this. I don't know how effective it'll be, but it still has not passed the Senate yet. It's been approved by the House, and on Thursday morning, it has to pass through the Senate, and the Senate can make changes. I don't know what kind of changes they can make, but the Senate can make some changes. So what can you do about it? Well, you can contact your senators. That's what you can do. I did it today, and that's how I know that it's confirmed that the immunity for police and the unleashing of America's law enforcement is in this bill. It was hidden in the bill intentionally. What doesn't work? Oh, Claudette, you mean calling your senators? Yeah, I'm aware that could be difficult. But if your senators know, how you feel about it, your voice matters. You know, how many people have told you got to speak up? You got to speak up. And I'm not telling you to be rude with your senators. I'm saying if you contact your senators, they're the next ones in line to get their hands on this legislation to be able to make changes, even if it's just slight changes. Maybe, maybe those changes. My senator's Republican, I believe, Todd Young. And look, I'm working on a video. And that's what actually put me in the position to know about what I'm talking to you about right now. Been working on the video, got a lot of information in it, and it's about police reform. And this is what I found out today. So this is right now. And there's a lot of shit that we've been learning about, like a bit of an infiltration of the system that's happening. And this division between Democrats and Republicans is not what you think it is. It's not real. It's indoctrination that is being utilized as a tool, as a function, to get some shit done. So, and you might say, well, that's a conspiracy. Yeah, damn straight. It's a conspiracy. It's exactly what it is. It's conspiracy. There's a lot of conspiracy happening right now under our noses and basically right in our face. And people are too worried about, it's exactly everything you've been warned about. People are worried about arguing about, whether they're Democrat or Republican. Basically what's happening is our government has put us into a place where we will be divided, so that they can pass things that are needed in a strategic fashion. It's a strategy, and there is a goal. There's an agenda that is happening. It fits every criteria to the word conspiracy in the legal system. And it's a big deal. Like obviously it's on a national level. It's a global level deal. And things are going to get implemented on us that you don't want throughout. Like there's going to be, what do they call it? Damages that, like, what word am I looking for here, y'all? People that weren't involved, things are going to inadvertently happen that are going to cause damage to a lot of people. And this is one of them. They're going to strengthen law enforcement. There's a different purpose for strengthening the law enforcement, but in their strengthening of law enforcement, and they're beefing up and unleashing law enforcement, that's going to affect you. Just like trying to suspend your right to fair trial or to motion your judge for habeas corpus if you feel like you've been wrongfully arrested, that would affect you too. So, and I don't even think immigration is the only purpose. As I'm working on this video and getting more intel, and like you guys realize, I communicate with people on a federal level over some stuff, and there's more going on than meets the eye. I'm going to say that. Now, what I say here is coming from me, not anybody else. I take full responsibility, and in that, I wouldn't say it if I didn't think I was right. And one thing I am right about, and it was confirmed today, is that in the here hidden in the big beautiful bill is the immunity that Trump wanted for police. Part of it is they are removing all of the, they're trying to remove all the lawsuits. Pam Bondi is trying to remove all the lawsuits and like give law enforcement across the nation a clean slate. They're removing all of their action that they've taken for misconduct across the board, across the nation. It's not really case by case. It's on a bigger level because they need law enforcement to be clean as a whistle and tough as nails to suit their agenda. The feds now at the DOJ level, every bit of feds now are being redirected. They're shifting their focus from trafficking and drugs and obviously police reform. They're shifting away from all of that, and they're focusing not solely, but almost intently on immigration. And in that, there's a lot of neglect of ongoing issues. Matter of fact, there's all kinds of things that America is going to suffer, because what happens when you take the investigators away from rapes, murders, all these investigations on these things, trafficking, all that kind of stuff? You're taking them away and you're putting them on one thing that it's for an agenda. My video that I'm going to publish will give you more information. I'm not really ready to do that right here on this live stream. I don't want to do a live stream about it because I want to make sure that all the information that comes out 100% accurate and correct. And that's why it's taking me so long. There's a lot here. I've got to do a lot of confirmation. There's been a lot of deep dives and records research to make sure that what I'm seeing is right. So in this current bill that you all just thought was, here, how about you all put a 1 in chat if you thought the bill was mostly about like America's budget? Put a 1 in chat if you thought that this bill that they just passed was mostly about budget, Social Security benefits, taxes. It is. It's all in there, but hidden in there. Did y'all not get fooled by it? I don't see anyone's going. Put a 1 in chat if you thought it was mostly about America's budget, because that's how they put it on the news. That's what they were saying. That's what the government was saying it was about, was mostly about money. Because as you know, America is $37 trillion in debt. They are in this bill also increasing the debt ceiling, which means we're going to go another almost immediately. We're going to go about another 4 trillion in debt, trillion with a T. There's a lot of argument over this thing. Now, I'm not focused on that stuff. It will affect me because, Tiffany's in school. She gets grants. It affects her, affects me. I'm self-employed, and, I'm running a very small business. So the health insurance thing will matter. But mostly what they talked about on the news, this is what everybody thinks you're dealing with. Almost everybody thinks that you're solely dealing with budget issues, tax issues, increases, decreases, removing funding, all that kind of stuff. But they're slipping in, I think they said it was page 526 or something like that out of 1,000 pages that was rushed on a Sunday at 1 a.m. They called the House in to work on a Sunday at 1 a.m. Good things don't happen under the cover of darkness. And somewhere mixed in that 1,000 pages that was being forced and rushed that quickly is the police immunities that Trump campaigned on. Here, I'll play it for you again. Let's see.
And defend themselves and hire lawyers. You got to go hire a lawyer. These lawyers would take what they make in 1 year, they'll take it out of their hides. You can't do that. We're going to give immunity to police so they can do their job. I'm giving federal immunity to police officers so they can do their job.
Yeah. I'm giving federal immunity to police officers so they can do their job. Did you all think they were going to do it by slipping it into a bill at 1 a.m. on a Sunday morning? Is that what you thought? I didn't. I didn't think they would slip it into a bill about everything else. But they did. Like I said, this is confirmed. And this, after speaking to some people in law enforcement about this, we all think that this is the end. This is the beginning of the end. And I'm talking, it'll happen very quickly. This is the beginning of the end for police reform and police accountability. This is the beginning of the end for the 1A community on YouTube or any other forms of social media, because come Thursday, when the Senate passes this bill, if they don't address that portion of it that was hidden in this bill, then you will not be out there recording police officers or ever challenging police officers. Not according to my sources. My sources are saying, nope, those days are done after this. Those days are absolutely done. Not only that, but, you know, we're well aware that there's going to be, and there has been, it's already been happening, political retaliation. So people that speak out, it's not good. It's not good. Under this administration, after this bill is passed, there's a bunch of shit in this bill that's going to make it where retaliation won't have any consequences. So when they do things, they're going to A, have the law behind them, B, have the more power to do it, C, every senator in every state is pretty much, I mean, unless you have, unless you're in a blue state, you might have a little bit, but they won't have any power, because even the DOJ is under Pam Bondi, and Pam Bondi is in on this, and Pam Bondi is the AG that is responsible for taking cases for the DOJ. So if there's a beating by police officers because you're not complying fully or whatever, or they say you're not complying, Pam Bondi is going to turn the case down. It's not going to get investigated by the DOJ like it would have been. Yeah. And listen, I know I'm right. I know I am now. I thought I was right when I was talking to you all before. And that's why I was kind of pushing, my position and saying, hey, whoa, this don't look good. But confirmed today, and by more than one source. And these sources are 100% credible. That's where we're at. This bill includes law and power, and it shifts the power for police issues. Get this. The way it reads in the bill that's getting ready to get passed, the way it reads is the power is shifted for taking up these cases from the judicial branch to the executive branch, which means that everything in the executive, do you guys understand the three branches of government, the separation? They're all equal on power and authority. The president is not the highest in the United States. First of all, a lot of people think that the president is not the most powerful person in the United States. It is that way in countries like North Korea. In other words, their legal infrastructure actually operates and functions on a level where you have a supreme leader. The supreme is over all of the divisions. Now, we don't have that. Not one person is supreme over our justice system, over our legal system, over our government. Okay. The thing that's the top in ours is the Constitution. So the Constitution is supreme, and then all three branches are equal. So you got the legislation, the executive, and then judicial, and those are all three equal. Like, equal with the president's power is the federal court. Okay, and then equal with the president's power and legislation is the is it the Senate, one of the two. So it's not the same layout. Well, the way we keep checks and balances with that system is that a different branch handles portions of each issue, right? So, and then the House and of Reps and the Congress, that's the one that's supposed to like be the first check in line if the executive branch does something or wants something like more power or more authority or something that a legal change. So that's why it's voted on, and it's passed by two sources. So it goes through a whole process in legislation, and then the judges are like a backup. So the judicial branch is like, they're behind everything. It happens later in the judicial branch. So effectively, if the executive branch were to have control of the legislation branch, like we're seeing now, due to the division between Republican and Democrat, which is not real, by the way, then it would only be up to the judicial branch later. And it can take years to resolve an issue that already occurred due to executive and legislation doing something wrong, like violating the Constitution. So that's why you see these cases take years, because the judicial branch, those are unchecked. Those are, when you see a case that goes on for a couple of years, that where there was a constitutional violation, when you see it going through court process, it's because the executive branch did something, the legislation didn't check that thing, and it was a constitutional violation, so the judiciary had to pick it up. Once the judiciary picks it up, it's already happened. The thing has already happened. So the thing happens, then the third check and balance comes into play, and that can take years. It's a slow process. They're all backed up. There's a lot going on. So police reform is yesterday's news. 1A community, you're fucked. You're done. I was told that if I intend on rebuilding a YouTube channel, that it would be pointless and dangerous to try to do it in that genre now, because it ain't going. Listen, you can try, but it ain't going to last, because we're getting ready to get all these powers and all these protections, and the legislation's making all these laws that, and that's what's in the big beautiful bill. All these laws are getting put in, and on Thursday the Senate is going to review them, and if they approve, they're going to sign off. We're not even talking about this with the public. Like, the public's not even talking about it because it was hidden. It was hidden. The police reform stuff was hidden within the 1,000-page package that was presented. It was fucking hidden from you. This is not transparency. This administration is not transparent. They are the opposite of transparent. I don't know how hard or why it's so hard for you people to understand this that are not listening. I don't know why it's so hard to see it coming for you all, for the people who argue about somehow that the Trump administration is doing a good thing. Because I can't believe I'm getting any argument or that anybody would argue that what we're seeing from the Trump administration goes completely against the 1A community. So there's a lot of people that are viewers and appreciators and watchers of the 1A community that are arguing on behalf of Trump right now, Trump administration. And I don't understand why they're not seeing the problem. I guess they're just blinded by the few bribes that are being put out there, the lies and the bribes. Where they say, "Hey, man, your pockets are going to be full as fuck at the end of this." Like Trump saying that. He's like, "If you pass my big beautiful bill, Americans' pockets will be lined. They will be lined." Well, you should know that's a lie, because we're going further in debt. Almost immediately, when this bill gets passed, they have to raise the debt ceiling another $4 trillion, which means we go immediately $4 trillion more in debt. And then if you look at the graphs, it's consistently worse and worse and worse from there. So what they actually did, and I saw a graph when it comes to removing the Social Security benefits and the Medicare, Medicaid, excuse me. Okay. So the very lowest tax bracket, the people making the very least amount of money in America, had a block about this big. That was American budget tax relief that was going to them. And so they took that down to about like this, which there was like, so then another bar graph showed that the money that was saved from doing that, from taking away Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, all that stuff. So the cuts that they made out of that, let's just say it was that much right there, right? Well, then they turn around and there's another bar which shows, well, this is how much money, the same number it was actually higher, was in that bar that was taken from the low end, from the brokest people in America. And, the people that need help the most, tax relief, the most, like benefits and stuff like that taxes pay for. And then there was one about that big, and that was how much tax money and resources from this bill that was going to go to the rich, not you. The rich I'm talking about don't watch this YouTube channel. They may not watch any YouTube channel except for maybe their political adversaries. The rich that are getting that money are people like Elon Musk, huge factory owners, not workers, not supervisors, not, I'm talking about the people that swing the golf clubs. So really, literally, if you would just research enough to learn that, which is available on all kinds of different forms of media, it's literally numbers. Okay, so you can tune out all the opinion and still see the numbers, and the numbers don't lie. So you would be able to have seen that when you were told by Fox, which is not a legit media station, that is a private entertainment company, when you were told that your pockets were going to be lined if you hurried up and agreed to this big, beautiful bill, one big, beautiful bill, which incorporates basically everything Trump campaigned on, right? So it includes things that a lot of people wanted, but it also includes things that you probably can't live with. You probably can't live with them. It's going to be so big of a change, especially for people in 1A. You can't, I mean, you can change what you do on YouTube, maybe. You can I don't know. What do you all suggest? What do you think the 1A should do when they're not allowed to get close, when There are no checks and balances at the police departments. When, like, there is no DOJ over civil rights violations. They will be there, but they're going to refuse cases. They're going to refuse all the cases that you would see on 1A channels. Like everything Lackluster publishes, it's going to get, Pam Bondi is going to throw it out. None of these are big enough. None of these are big enough. Everything you see on the Civil Rights Lawyers channel, those cases aren't going to be big enough for Pam Bondi to take up. They've already said they're doing this. They're going to reject those cases as the Civil Rights Division for the DOJ, FBI. They're going to reject those cases and shift all of their energy into immigration. And that is what's happening with this big, beautiful bill. It was stuffed in. It was stuffed in there, hidden, not talked about, not read out loud, nothing about it on mainstream media. And at Sunday at 1 o'clock in the morning, and now it's being rushed. You know, the president wants to have this thing back from Senate, approved by Senate, and signed by the 4th of July. Why the 4th of July, Trump? What kind of point are you trying to make? Nothing was going to happen. They said that if Americans didn't push this bill through, if we the people did not support this, and they said it like as if you're going to get retaliated against if you don't. They literally threatened 2 of the House reps that were Republican, that they called, the Trump administration called it grandstanding, and are having them investigated to lose their jobs. Okay, that is political retaliation. Absolutely, 100%. For sure. That is political corruption. That's corruption. That's how this shit gets corrupt like this. It ain't got nothing to do with them being Republican and Democrat. All that is fake. That is just in your mind. That's in your mind. Republican Democrat is not really a thing. It's almost like they took the word Democrat and they turned it into something dirty, like the N-word. So maybe from now on, for you guys to help yourselves understand how much hatred and agenda-based pressure that you're getting, when you hear someone use the word Democrat in a negative light, just replace it in your head with the N-word and see if it sounds like that's how it's being presented. Just replace it in your head and see. It's a hate-fueled, agenda-based separation, division for a purpose. And I'm going to prove that. I'm going to prove that in a series of videos. And I'm telling you, everything I am fact checking all the way. And in this, I am worried that if it gets the attention that I need it to get, that we the people need to get from it, that I will also be subject to retaliation. Not just retaliation, but retaliation like me and Tiffany have never seen before, from levels of government that we have never dealt with before. You know, maybe it'll come in a form from a command from, you know, my senator. I don't know, but I did contact my senator today, because I didn't talk to my senator. I talked to the senator's office to relay a message that I was concerned about. And you could do the same thing here. Contact your senator. On Thursday morning, your senator will be at the table going over the 1,000 pages of this. Actually, they're already going over it now. They're going to decide on it and make changes that need to be made on Thursday morning, this Thursday morning coming up. So I know you can't contact them. I mean, you can call and leave a message or whatever, or email them or file, you know, on their websites. But you probably won't get a return or anything until maybe Monday or Tuesday they come back to office. So people have been asking me, Chris, what could I do? Well, you can voice your concerns about the hidden agenda that is in black and white. This is proven in black and white, that was stuffed into the middle of the big, beautiful bill, and you can say to them your feelings. You can say to them, I'm concerned with unchecked power and immunity and removing reforms and all that stuff that they're not talking about on media. You can say, Mr. Senator, Miss Senator, I know you're going to review this thing and make changes on Thursday morning. Please, this stuff is important. Please don't sign that away. Please don't sign, however you feel. Maybe you're a person who wants to be controlled. Maybe you're a person who needs police to tell you what to do. Maybe you're a bootlicker. Maybe you have a family member that's a police officer that you've been getting special privileges from. Even you can call and say, hey, you're upsetting people that have been running YouTube channels and shit. You say whatever you want. Just bring attention to it. Bring attention to it to your senator. Your senator needs to know what you think about this before they go and approve it on Thursday morning. Hang on. We're going to watch this one more time.
Themselves and defend themselves and hire lawyers. You got to go hire a lawyer. These lawyers would take what they make in 1 year, they'll take it out of their hides. You can't do that. We're going to give immunity to police so they can do their job. I'm giving federal immunity to police officers so they can do their job. I think it's good. She wants to leave our communities at the mercy of deranged criminals and violent mobs. Unlike Kamala Harris, under my leadership, we will never defy.
And look, we know that's not true. We know it's not true that there's immediate danger. We have been living in this same environment before Trump came along. We have been living in this environment for years, right? Our whole lives. It wasn't, we're not, it's not distress. It's not an immediate, it's not necessary to change immediately because we're not in distress. We may not like the crime that America does have. We may not like a lot of the incidents that occur, but it wasn't a situation in which needed to be handled immediately or else. And that's how they have tricked you into thinking that things like 1,000-page bills with a lot of trickery in it needed to immediately be passed by the end of the week or else. Matter of fact, hey, y'all get in here. It's Sunday at 1 o'clock in the morning. Get in here. And you're right. It is a holiday on Monday. And right, son, I'm so sorry to hear about your dog. It is a holiday on Monday. Now, I'll bet you that your senators are diligently working right now to go through this bill and read it. They will be working on Monday, but you probably won't get through to them because their offices won't be open. But I'm sure they will be working, and I'm sure that they want to know, like, senators are in a place right now where they're like, what do I do? And hopefully they're not completely engulfed in the division between Republican and Democrat to the point in which they just say, hey, I'm Republican, I'm passing it. They're not supposed to. That's the division. That's an agenda-based thing. There is no difference between Republicans and Democrats. People are using the Democrat word from the Republican side, and they mean it from a hateful manner because despite and the hate is the division process. That's the agenda. So what they've done is they've taken the N word. They've taken the most hateful word they could use, and they've said, don't use that word. Use the word Democrats instead, or libtard. Okay? So now every time you hear someone that is speaking on behalf of the Republican Party, which a lot of Republicans do not do this. A lot of Republicans do not have hate. A lot of Republicans are intelligent. This is a party that has been infiltrated. It doesn't mean that everyone in the party is a hateful, spiteful, nasty, disgusting person. It just means that their party has been infiltrated. I'm going to prove it. But that they've used that to cause the division. That's what's happening. And the Trump administration has used that to cause division. And then they are pumping this hatred, this fuel for the word Democrat and libtard. They're pumping this fuel to make it a disgusting word. They want you to make it a disgusting word, because how dare you question what they're doing? You need to look away. Look away. Look away. That's what they need. They need for you to look away so that they can get away with shit like this. They need you to look away. Their agenda is not for you people. The agenda is not for us. It's for them. And you'll learn soon from the facts that I've obtained that I'll be putting in video format why, to some extent. You won't get the full reason, because even I'm not sure. I'm not one of them. I don't know. But you will see that the purpose makes sense. That's what I'm good at. I'm good at figuring things out, using records, looking into it, seeing what, and get a pretty good gist of what the fuck is going on with our government. And I've been doing that diligently, and I found what, I don't know what the final purpose is, but I can show you how it was infiltrated and by whom. I'll give you a hint. The party that is in charge of things has always been viewed as a threat to America. And they're not anymore. But historically, that's who's in charge, is someone, that, a group, a party in the past. And you might be thinking, oh, God, he's falling down the rabbit hole. He's thinking Russia. No, I'm not talking about Russia. I'm not talking about, you'll see. You'll see. It's right here on our homeland, on our soil. And it's just a simple misunderstanding, an issue that has been carried on from generation to generation, and it has not been handled yet. And that is the thing I'm going to tell you, not right now, is what's going on. I'm 100% sure of that much. But the agendas that are coming from it, not all of you would disagree with its purpose. There are a lot of people who probably be like, okay, fine. But here's what you all disagree with. You're all going to disagree with the changes that are going to happen for this power shift to take place. I mean, there are people that are probably going to be fine with it, but they're not you all. They're not anyone that's watching this. There's not anybody that's going to watch this later. Not really, because it's going to negatively impact them as well. I don't think there's anybody, not even like the haters on the other side, the anti-auditors. I don't even think any of them want what's about to happen, because it's going to have negative effects on them too. The changes that are going to have to be made to implement this agenda are going to negatively impact everybody along the way. And this is one of the biggest things right here that you can see for yourself and research and prove that I'm right by doing your own. Oh, listen, you'll be able to get this information now that I've told you about it from other sources, and then you will be able to read it for yourself. And I'll show it to you when it becomes public, okay? But by that time, they're hiding it for a reason. By the time it becomes public, it'll already be signed in by the president. It'll be after the 4th of July. So here it is for you. I promise you, I found it. I got it. It is confirmed. They wrapped the police reform nonsense, the immunities for cops, the inability to be able to do police reform. the protections, the legal protections, they've handpicked an AG, Pam Bondi, who is not intention. She's reversed all of the consent decrees. She's trying to dismiss any lawsuits they filed against any police brutality or police misconduct situations, and they have shifted their focus. This has been stated. They're shifting their focus into nothing more than immigration. Immigration, that's it. And here's the problem with that. One, we don't need to beef up police. They're already bad enough. Two, we need checks and balances on police officers. They don't need more immunity. The immunity that they already have is already too difficult to get past when they fuck up. And three, we need the DOJ to be the check and balance system when there is police misconduct. We're going to lose that. And four, we need the feds to be able to also focus on crimes that we already suffer from in America, not just immigration. We need FBI to be able to do the child trafficking, the murders, the heinous crimes that are committed all across the nation. Those federal crimes, that's the responsibility of the FBI. These people are all being redirected under this. And then all of the legislation that's necessary to push that, to make that legal, including an actual line item that's in there to take away the judge's ability to be a check and balance and put all the responsibility and the accountability check balance is all in the same division, the executive division. They're going to have full reign of power in these things, in police reform. They're taking it away from the check and balance system, you all, in this bill, which goes in front of your senator on Thursday morning. And I would suggest that this is not a time to argue over who fucked up when they voted for who. I would suggest that we need to realize the severity of the situation affects all of us and stop letting ourselves be divided between Republican and Democrat. Listen, I'm nonpartisan, and because I've stood against Republican policies lately, I'm called the N-word. I'm sorry. I'm called the D-word. Like, people are like, you fucking Democrat motherfucker. You know, I'm not a Democrat. I just, like, that's the hate that they're pushing. That's the narrative that they need to be able to sneak this shit in to legislation and get it passed by a stacked fucking house. And I think that America fucked up. I think that America fucked up when they allowed division within the three divisions. In other words, when they allowed the people to separate themselves by Democrat, Republican, and Libertarian, I think that was a huge mistake. Personally, I think that was a huge mistake from a strategic protection standpoint for this nation's credibility, for this nation's integrity, for the integrity of the legal system to work. No wonder it failed. It failed because we, the people, divided. That's the strategy. We fell for it. And it happened only, 30 years after the Declaration of Independence was signed? It didn't take long at all. I stand on the side of when laws are placed and enforced on us that have a negative impact on we the people, I'm against it. That's my position. And right now, it just happens to be the Republican Party that is doing that. So I am right now definitely going against the Republican Party. Now, if it changes, if this takeover hasn't effectively been completed, and it turns out that somehow our check and balances system does keep this from happening, what is being trying to be happen right now, what they're trying to do right now, which is take over the three branches. If they succeed at that, then it's already done. Okay. If they succeed at that, then there won't be another Democrat leadership. You understand? If they succeed at the agenda that they're trying to do right now, there will not be an opposing party or changes made. That part I was right about. I was right about let me think about this. We got a lot to go over because I need to share with you how I got here, where I'm at, and understanding and all the facts that have occurred while making these videos that I haven't even published yet. Matter of fact, Tiff said, I don't know if we should publish this yet. You know, some of the shit that I've been doing. Yeah. Anyway, if that agenda does succeed, then there won't be a concern between Republican and Democrat parties or opposing political values being incorporated by another administration, because it will remain Republican forever if they succeed. I can tell you that is part of the purpose, part of the agenda that is currently happening now. But the Republican-Democrat separation is not the real problem. That's not real. I'm speaking to anyone who thinks they're Republican or Democrat. That's not real. That's not real. The Republican Party has been infiltrated. There are still good people that believe that they are on both. It is an ideology that makes zero difference. It makes zero difference. It is only a division to sway you to be a number on a card when you vote. Because the Republican Party that is currently in now is not the same as what you've ever dealt with before. This is intentionally an agenda-based move, a strategic move. You don't have to believe me, but what you will believe is the facts that I show you in the video that's coming up, and the words that you heard from me about this police reform issue and the ending of 1A community. It's listen, if there are any 1As out there right now, you should get them in here right now, because I'll make a bet with them. They're done. Unless they can figure out a different way to do it from the safety of their home. Like, Lack will still go, but it'll be pointless for him to do these videos because DOJ is not going to do any charges against any officers. The only thing that's going to be left is the civil process. And without concern, if the notion is that cops can kill people or hurt people or beat people, and there is no wrongdoing seen in the eyes of the law, then the civil system is going to not put very much effort into that. It's going to be a regular occurrence. Way more. You say, oh, it's already been happening, Chris. Not like it's about to after this big, beautiful bill passes. And it might take them a little time. They're probably going to be a little skittish, like a mouse coming out to eat in the daylight. The cops might be like, do I really have this power? Really? Are you sure? Let me test the waters and see. And yeah, they're going to see. Pam Bondi is not going to take any cases against them. The DOJ is going to refuse to investigate anything. That's on them. They're going to have protections, private attorneys from the private sector, way more resources, money, guns, shields, all the stuff they need to wreak complete fucking military style havoc on us. And there ain't going to be no check and balance system because it's all going to be in the hands of the same division, the same branch of government. If this big, beautiful bill passes the way it's written right now, with that hidden section, that's what's going to happen. And if you think the cops ain't going to rip that fucking camera straight out your hand and shove it down your throat, especially when you call them a name or something, You're about to find out. You're going to find out. So it is within everyone in the 1A community's best interest to come together, verify what I said to be true way before Thursday, and contact your senators and let them know that you learned about this thing being slipped in to this 1,000-page proposal for an agenda that is going to it's going to have a lot of bad things that are going to happen to us. A lot of bad things are going to happen to us for them to fulfill this agenda. And the agenda, it ain't for you. None of you are on that level. None of you. I can almost guarantee that none of the people that are important enough to be the ones that I'm talking about who it benefits, they're not watching this channel. Not even the civilian army that's fighting for them. None of you. It will not benefit you. You might feel a little more powerful for a while. You might be happy that you're getting what you think should have been gotten 100 and some years ago. But that is not going to benefit you. The current check and balance system, the division between the government and the reforms that were available, that benefits you. It does. I promise you. It may not be perfect, and it ain't something to brag about, and there were a lot of problems with it, but it ain't going to be like that when those divisions collapse. And that is the agenda, is to collapse the divisions and to put all the power in the executive branch. And when you do that, you end up with full control and authority. That's it. It doesn't make America become an ideology that you want. It doesn't make America Republican. That's not what it does. If you put all of the power into one branch and then you pick a leader or the person that conquers the divisions becomes the leader, that does not make the nation become a singular ideology. The nation will still be the nation. The nation will still be divided in their beliefs. You're not going to get what you want or what you think out of an ideology. Okay. I only came on here because I felt like this portion of what I'm working on, kind of an emergency, because your senators need to know what you think about it before Thursday. There are other things that you might want to look into that were in the bill that you may disagree with. But that one is going to affect all of you in a very negative way, and they totally hid it from you. It was absolutely hidden. There's a few scholars. So if you follow up by looking this up after I get done with this live stream, you will find that a few scholars have found it. But I confirmed it through my resources, including the senator's office. And it is true. It is true that the power of reform and corrective action for police encounters and violence is in this bill to be shifted over to just the executive branch to have control over it. In other words, you can't even take legal action against it. And then the hand-picked Pam Bondi, Attorney General, has been directed and directing her staff to not pursue it unless it is immigration. That's a problem for all of you. That is a problem for all of you. And in this bill, in that area of the bill that was tucked in and hidden, and then reviewed by the House at 3 o'clock to 1 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, and then until 6 o'clock in the morning a couple days ago, in there, slipped in that section, is also line items that beef police up, give them more resources, and offer them civil protections and more immunity. Is this what you wanted? I'm talking to the Republicans. I'm talking to the Democrats. I'm talking to you. Is this what you wanted, really? Because I feel like if you wanted it, and I'm talking to the Republicans, I feel like if this was really what you wanted, then they wouldn't have hidden it from you. If this was really what you wanted, then they would have gave you an opportunity to be a part of the legislation, and they wouldn't have stuffed it in the middle of 1,000 pages of documents and agendas. If this was really what they thought that you wanted, it would be all over the news right now, just like the tax breaks. I don't believe this is what anybody wanted, and neither does the Trump administration. Neither do the agenda people. I don't think they thought that this is what you want. Therefore, they are lying, and they're hiding it, and they were trying to slip it by you, and it already made one check system. It already passed the House. You probably fucking cheered because you didn't know what was in that. You still don't know what else is in that. There's more in that. And I'm sure it'll come out what all slipped in 1,000 pages. I'm not the only one who's on the right track. And I'm only using facts and records. I promise. I promise you. I have opinions, but I've kept them reserved because when I make videos about things and I'm doing research on current issues with the government, I try to keep my opinions out of it until it's time to say, you know what I think about this fucking cop, But here we are. It's different. And I do not care to see Democrat versus Republican in my zone at all, because I'm going to tell all of you that argue about whether you're Democrat or Republican, I'm going to tell all of you to fuck straight off with that shit and get together and stop this division. It's part of the agenda. It is part of the agenda. I'm not going to promote the arguing between people's ideology, thinking that you're Republican or Democrat, when we are all going to share the same fate. And I don't mean necessarily that you're going to die. What I'm saying is that there will be no checks and balances on the police anymore. What I'm saying is that the division in the nation, in the whole fucking nation, is going to be redirected from very important criminal activity over to just one area. It is already playing out. It does not benefit you. It will not benefit you. The number of immigrants that are here, it was not a threat to you. The crime that was happening, it was already happening. You were living just fine. It was getting weeded out. You should have let it continue to just get weeded out. That's what needed to happen, because what's happening now is an agenda. It is an agenda that you are not the recipient party to the ending of it. You do not benefit from it. Not anyone watching this. And if a person that does benefit ends up watching this, then that means that my message has gotten out there as far as I need it to get out there. So, by all means, share this message. Double check what I've said. You will see that I am right. This is confirmed. Hidden in the bill that they called the House in at 1 a.m. on Sunday night to do and pressed as fast as possible and lied all over the media about what all's in it, includes the ending of police reform, the beginning of militarizing them exponentially, the ending of the check and balance system. It's in there, stuffed in there. So on your time, because you question me and you think I'm crazy, you find out that information for yourself. You'll see I'm right. And then what you can do about it, I'm being very clear to those who say there's nothing we can do about it. What you can do about it is you can contact your senator and you can voice your concerns, and you best do it before probably Wednesday, because Thursday morning, your senators, each and every one of you are going to be deciding if they need to make any changes to it. So there you go. And I'm sorry to be the bearer of this message. And I pray, which I don't know, I pray that it don't turn out getting passed in the current status that it reads now. And I hope that we continue to keep a check and balance system. For you really smart people who already knew and understood what I was talking about on divisions and everything, look into the part of it that says that all of the power of these incidents is going to be decided in the executive branch and not decided in the other branches anymore. Because I know that's what you're thinking. No, it ain't over. We still got this branch. We still got this check. Nuh-uh. Check out the new big, beautiful bill. Read this section. Find it for yourself. It is available to you through my sources, but you can find it. And there are other resources that have found this, what I'm talking about, and put it out there. And if you hate me for being early and having information that a lot of people haven't gotten yet, well, that means I must be doing my job. Man, I love you guys, and this shit fucking sucks, but we'll get through it together, and we'll figure it out as we the people. We will work together. You hear that, people that are divided between Republican and Democrat? You hear that, guys? We're going to work together. You're going to stop that division shit. And we're not even going to blame people who call themselves or have the ideology that they're Republican at all anymore. We're just going to convince them that they need to be more diligent and question their government harder before they go and do what their government wants them to do and behave the way that their government is pushing for them to behave, and stop using the ideology in such a negative way. Stop promoting the N word, man. I mean, the D word. Stop doing that. You're falling for it. You're falling for it. It is a real thing. It is, in fact, a conspiracy, but it is a conspiracy by law due to an agenda. And that agenda is not for you. I love you, and I'll see you on the video. Hopefully it'll come out on Sunday at 1, like usual. Good night, guys.